beside her. Instinctively, Haiju raised her spear to block any attack that this new opponent would do, and that was just spot on. AGM landed a strike, and the power behind this one was enough to send the guarded Haiju. This lady was already losing consciousness from the damage she received and from the exhaustion of fending off the monsters. But before she passed out, this was the scene that she saw. A familiar figure just emerged, and it was already on top of the pillar guardian. A red streak of slash was performed, and it was almost lethally accurate. Haiju then realized that this man right here was Choi Yul. And right now, our MC was already holding the head of Mad Brains. She was wondering what just happened, but her line of sight was getting more blurry. After a few seconds, a powerful beam was sent to Haiju's position. This attack came from AGM because, after all, this machine's role was to defeat Haiju. But as it approached the place where this lady fell, all that it saw was a patch of blood. Its system then alerted AGM that its target was missing, and it immediately activated its tracing senses. Meanwhile, this pillar guardian has already lost its head. The wires on its body were already malfunctioning. But then, something happened. The system revealed that an unlocking trait has been unlocked, and this trait was called the Mad Order. It will now repeatedly craft the last machine it has created, and the manufacturing speed and amount produced will be doubled. And in a few moments, the whole area was already flooding with these machines. The production would never stop unless the main unit was destroyed. Meanwhile, our MC was just chilling while looking at the seal of the Demon King. This guy was lost in his thoughts. He was now thinking that the tower took longer to take down than he had expected, and it resulted in more people hiding in fear. As for the first tower, the crowd were still trying their best to destroy it. Even though they were already pouring a lot of their powers on hitting this thing, it was just too sturdy. In the second one, more chaos has started. Since there were now more unstoppable machines flooding the area, the crowd struggled even more. These guys were just trying to buy more time now. Fortunately, the backups have arrived. 3 army trucks appeared behind them. Yul was still observing everything. He thought that he could just end and defeat all of the towers easily, but it would be meaningless. Our MC knew that if he really wanted for this city to survive, something different should be done. In his mind, the whole city needs to become stronger, and his plan had already started with Yeom. This guy right here will be the one who would eventually become the capable commander that Yul was waiting for. And as for this lady right here, she will be the champion unit that would lead everyone to victory. After a few moments, Haiju woke up. She wondered if she was still alive. She then started to get back up while asking the one near her if this one saved her. But this lady was not able to finish what she was saying as the individual near her revealed to be Jack, the Goblin Swordmaster. Haiju took a few steps back, clearly caught off guard by the scene. Jack, on the other hand, let out a sigh and told the individual in question to be quiet. After realizing that she was indeed safe, Haiju apologized. But she freaked out again as soon as she realized that the goblin just talked. Jack then informed her that he was the one who treated her wounds, and that they should start right away as they didn't have much time. Haiju wondered what he was talking about. This swordmaster then pointed his sword towards Haiju. He revealed that Choi Yul asked him to train this lady with his swordsmanship. Although this might be too cliché, this will be Haiju's short training arc. This revelation then made this beach dumbfounded. Meanwhile, somewhere along the city, AGM was still looking for Haiju, and its system just detected a reaction from her, so it was now heading towards her position. This one was still 325 meters away. In its perspective, the system has already scanned the area, and it just confirmed that Haiju was really there. After confirming this information, AGM flew faster and used its booster to get there quickly. But as this machine arrived at its target, it stopped as our MC appeared in front of it. Yul was now holding the fist of AGM while laughing. He revealed that he just fooled this one again. Our MC was now holding the item Mad Linked Brain on his left hand. This item has the ability to confuse machines, and it could disarm traps and devices 5 times per mission. This was also the reason why AGM missed the real location of Haiju. It had been making its system think that the target was in another place. Yul continued to travel in different locations to lure the machine. AGM had enough of this, so it decided to just launch a powerful beam. And it landed on the building. The attack even managed to pierce through the other side. While the fight between Yul and AGM was happening, the crowd that was assigned to destroy the first tower were also busy. All of a sudden, the beam that AGM released just went through the same location of the first tower, and just being grazed from that beam, the tower had already been crumbling down. Turns out, Yul had planned this all along. He directed the attack of AGM towards that direction. He then turned his attention back to this machine and thanked it for solving another problem for him. This easy-go-lucky expression annoyed AGM even more, and all the while, the sound of weapons clashing could be heard in this area. This sound was coming from Haiju and Jack. Their training session has already started. While Haiju was deflecting the attacks, Jack was instructing her ways on how she could use her power properly. This lady has really paid attention and followed each command that Jack would tell her to do. Right now, the innate power of the flame dragon has been used. Haiju rushed towards Jack once again and attempted to land a strike. But this goblin swordmaster then reminded her something. He told Haiju that the power she had been using was not hers, and overdoing it could hurt her. So, rather than borrowing too much power blindly, she should just use the amount of power she could handle. Jack revealed that the power must not wield her. She should be the one wielding it. Haiju listened to all of these teachings and took notes from them. And from this day onward, this lady would become a more powerful warrior. After some time, Haiju's pants could be heard along the third tower. This lady was still catching her breath from the training she just went through. She also found out about the bet that Yul and Jack had of her being able to defeat the robot. Haiju's expression became more serious as she asked her master if this was really possible. But Jack did not give her any reply. This lady then thought that Jack being silent at this point was not helping her being encouraged at all. Jack then spoke and he asked her the reason why she had let him teach her. He wanted to know if it was because she trusts Choi Yo or just because she wanted to become stronger. Haiju got up and then answered that she didn't know either. All she knew was that this game that they were in now has a lot of upcoming missions, and full of stuff that she doesn't know. She was also not smart enough to find answers on her own, so the best thing she could do now was to train her body and see what lies in the future. With this captivating expression, Haiju revealed that that's how she had always lived her life. This simple yet bold statement then made Jack smile. He thought that Haiju was being used by Yul, but that was not the case. This lady right here was actually a true martial artist walking her own path. Haiju bowed and thanked Jack for teaching her. The idea of finding this genuine student made Jack smile once more. He then asked Haiju if they should now start getting serious with their training. 3 days later, inside this train station, lots of people had sought shelter in this place. Most of them were wounded from the ongoing fight above. These guys were even panicking and were torn between helping those who were still fighting or if they should just hide inside this place. Most of their concerns were about the contribution points they were about to receive if they managed to clear the stage. But their conversations were cut off as the ceiling above them trembled. Something has destroyed it and landed through the station. This one even had this blinding light. It was none other than the robot that had been looking for Haiju. AGM finally discovered the hideout of humans. This one then started scanning all of the people in front of it, and when it sensed even just a little bit of something that could be related to Haiju, it immediately released a powerful beam. AGM detected that his target was moving, so it had released lots of attacks to follow it up. The only problem was that this place was filled with injured people. Some of them might get hurt and accidentally be hit by these beams. A few moments later, its system concluded that it had already hit the target, so it stopped attacking. But as it scanned the surroundings further, all it saw was the head of Mad Brains lying on the ground. This alerted AGM once again, and before it could start with its desperate search, someone also came in from the hole that it created. The system also confirmed that it detected Haiju's signal. The crowd then wondered who this individual might be. AGM has turned its attention towards the one that just arrived. And there she is. Haiju has finally shown herself. But something was noticeably different. She had this new outfit now, and the aura she was emitting was definitely more powerful. Some of the crowd even thought that she was an angel. Before coming to this place, the system has confirmed that Haiju has unlocked a special event. She officially became Jack's disciple, and it made her inherit his martial arts. As a reward, an equipment that was ranked heroic class or higher would be given to her. She also earned a new skill called Swordmaster Student. This right here was the improved version of our waifu. The item that she got was called Illusion Ember. This one has a heroic class, and it was the armor of the best swordsman named Larny. The user would also receive a significant increase in defense power. And while Haiju made this amazing entrance, Yul and Jack were just on top of the place watching. These two were now talking about the odds of Haiju winning against a robot that was built to counter her whole existence. Jack revealed that this would be a 50-50 fight. This goblin claimed that the one in front of Haiju was her natural enemy. In their previous fight, she had no chance of winning. But things are different now because this lady has already learned martial arts. Each attack that Haiju was releasing was able to overpower AGM. But this robot wouldn't just give up because its only mission was to defeat and kill Haiju. Jack then thought that if the teachings that he had implanted into this one's brain would bloom, she would surely win this one. AGM wouldn't also appear as her enemy because she could just compare it to a piece of metal. Haiju was finally serious, and she used her passive skill. A little recap of what had been happening all over the map. After 3 days and 15 hours since the mission, the first pillar has been destroyed. As for the second pillar guardian, this took a little longer than expected, even though the army had already provided some backups. It took them 3 days and 17 hours before they could destroy it. A few hours after this event, Haiju and AGM's fight was ongoing. But this didn't take much longer, as our waifu had already dealt the finishing blow towards the robot. The system also confirmed that this special monster had been defeated. Seeing this, the crowd got more wary about their situation. On the 4th day, Ying noticed someone that was coming near him. This individual had this silhouette that seemed to be holding a spear weapon. Behind this one, there's also a lot of people standing. The individual was Haiju, and she smiled after seeing Ying being safe as well. This was also the time when most of the citizens returned to the game. 3 hours after their short reunion, something monumental happened. With the help of Ying and Haiju, humanity has finally destroyed the second pillar. These guys started to celebrate as they thought that they could definitely do this. They could fight and survive. The crowd also assumed that they just got some wins even without the help of Choi Yul, but all they knew was information on a surface level. They didn't realize that this was all planned by our MC. This guy was still with Jack, and the Goblin Swordmaster claimed that his student won the bet, so he would now keep his promise. The seal of the Demon King that was hovering above the city then started emitting this blue lightning. Something was happening. Meanwhile, the army has proceeded on assisting the people. They were now giving some food and additional equipment. Ying was now talking with Commander Song. His superior can't believe that his subordinate was now being held as a general of the army for leading them to victory. But this didn't really bother Commander Song because they still have a lot of things to do. He then told Ying to do what he needed to do, as he would take responsibility for these things. Before ending the call, Commander Song even teased Ying of being promoted after this task. This soldier had no other choice but to follow these orders. All he could do now was to sigh. Haiju then came in and greeted him. This lady informed Ying that they should now get going. Ying asked her if she was really sure about this move. Haiju assured him that this was his promise to his master. Ying then imagined the scene where Jack told Haiju that the next time they would be meeting, they will be enemies. And since the most powerful Pillar Guardian was the last one they should defeat, Ying wondered if they could win against it. This soldier knew that with difficulty level 3, this boss strength couldn't be compared to those they had already defeated. He also wondered what Yul had been thinking. But before they could leave the place and go to the third pillar, the whole area was enveloped with an intense aura. These two then saw that something just struck the seal of the Demon King with a powerful force. And as they focused their gazes, they figured that this individual was Choi Yo. Our MC just landed an intense kick towards the Demon King's seal, and it created huge cracks all over it. No one would have dared to destroy the seal with just a simple physical attack. After that, the seal broke and the debris started falling from the sky. The system then confirmed that it was really Choi Yo who destroyed the seal of the Demon King. This made Haiju and Yeung dumbfounded. Doing this brave move also forced the system to change the whole goal of their mission. Red ominous energy then started leaking from the destroyed seal of the Demon King. This was like a crack in space and time. As for the new mission, their primary goal now was to kill the Demon King.